YouTube has been very inconsistent with monetization lately. Anytime we react to any footage of explosions or anything, we're getting demonetized and getting limited ads. We're going to talk about that in a second, actually.
Do not worry, the podcast.
And yeah, so speaking of YouTube kind of limiting us, so what's been happening? So last week, for example, we wanted to upload our episode on Thursday, and then we ended up having to delay it because the video got limited ads. Now, what we usually do is we upload a low-res version of the episode like a day before. It usually gets cleared like for copyright, for advertisement, but as soon as we upload the HD version, for one reason or another, it always gets limited ads. And then you can request a review for them to review, and then maybe you can get your video monetized before you have to publish it. Sometimes it takes like 15 minutes and you get a green dollar sign. That means you can monetize your video. Sometimes it takes up to 5 or 6 days. So what ends up happening is we'll release our video with limited ads, and then 4 or 5 days later, I get an email that says, hey, by the way, your video's fine. We didn't find anything like questionable. Here you can monetize it again. But by that point, all of the views would have already come and gone, and you can't really monetize the video anymore. And most of the time, they don't even really tell you what caused your video to get limited ads. But last time, they actually specified maybe about 6 seconds worth of video, which was footage of Beirut getting bombed, essentially. We had like 3 TikToks of buildings in Beirut getting blasted by rockets. And that footage was deemed too violent to be on YouTube, even though this is the reality that we're living every single day. And like we acknowledge this is a silly, light, stupid show. But we do want to like remind you guys that as we were talking about silly Lebanese influencers and H3 drama, Lebanon is currently being bombed. Millions of people are displaced. Thousands of people are dying, getting killed, women, children. And we want to share that with you and show you some of that footage. And we weren't showing you anything violent. There wasn't any blood. There wasn't any, you couldn't see physically people getting hurt, but you can see buildings getting exploded. And YouTube is determining that our reality, the reality that has been sort of dictated upon us by the United States, by Israel, by the West, we can't show you what we're living. And if we try to, they demonetize us. Now, that's a way for YouTube, in my opinion, to censor anti-Israel content. If you want to criticize the war, if you want to show people the reality of what the West and what Israel is doing to people, they de-incentivize you from doing so by being like, hey, you want to talk about this stuff? Fair enough, but you're not going to be able to have ads on your videos. And if YouTube doesn't feel like they can put ads on your videos, they actually limit the video's reach because they don't think that they can make money off of it. If you make a video that is ad-friendly and company-friendly and whatever, YouTube is more than happy to promote it, push it on the algorithm, and have more and more people watch it. So this is an active way that YouTube is suppressing speech. They're suppressing content from Arab creators who are just trying to share the reality of what they're going through. And because of YouTube's rules, we can't show you what's happening. And now some of you might be thinking that, hey, you have a Patreon, you don't need to show us this stuff, like you have other ways to monetize your content. We need every dollar we can make off of this channel. These episodes are 2 hours long sometimes, and for the whole episode to get dinged for 10 seconds of footage is not fair. And we have a lot of people that work hard to make this podcast happen, so we can't afford to just miss out on monetization every week for 10 seconds worth of footage. So it's just really messed up, and we thank you guys for supporting us on Patreon because you have been making all of the difference. So thank you so much.
Yeah, like it wasn't enough that we're getting bombed every day. They also have to demonetize us because we're getting bombed every day, and we're just trying to showcase what's happening to us.
Apparently, our reality is very
it's too violent. But there was one video that I think we can get away with showing you guys. It was released on Instagram by a Lebanese actress called Aya Bihaidar. I follow her on Instagram. You're good friends with her sister, I believe. And it's a heartbreaking story of how sort of their grandmother had worked her whole life to give them an apartment, to give her granddaughters an apartment. And that apartment has been destroyed by Israel. And everything that their grandmother worked so hard to provide her granddaughters is gone. And this is just the story of Riwa and Aya and their grandmother's house. And hopefully we don't get dinged for this. There's nothing too violent in this footage, but hey, let's see. It's worth sharing.
مرحبا، هيدا بيت أمي. راح بيت أمي اللي بشارع حاطوم. بعتولنا إياه معلم بالأحمر وبثواني نزل على الأرض. 21 سنة من الحياة والذكريات اللي عشناهم بهيدا البيت دمرتهم إسرائيل بثواني. هيدا البيت بالأساس كان لستة. جمعت حقه لما كانت صغيرة واشترته، وبس تجوزت أمي خلتها تسكن فيه كرمال ما تستأجر برا. جابت أمي ولدين وبنتين، وستي كانت بتعرف منيح أنه قانون الورثة ما بينصف البنات، فقررت تضمن حق حفيداتها، يعني أنا وأختي. عملت المستحيل لتنقل ملكية البيت لأمي، وبدورها أمي بتنقل ملكيته لإلنا. بس أمي توفت فجأة بسكتة قلبية، ورغم كل هيدا أصرت ستي إنه تعطي البيت لإلنا وتتنازل عن حقها. بس صارت الحرب وبتتهجر ستي من بيتها وضاحيتها، وب 14 تشرين الثاني نهار الخميس الساعة 3:30 بتنزل إسرائيل إنذار، بتعلم البناية اللي فيها البيت بالأحمر وبتدمر البيت وبتدمر كل أحلام ستة إنه تعدل. بتبكي ستة كتير، مش كرمال الحجر أو الدمار، هيدا الله بيعوضه، بس بكيت لأنه فشلت كل محاولاتها بأنه تعدل، ولأنه ما وفت وعدها لبنتها، لأنه إسرائيل ما بتعرف إنه في ست من برج البراجنة قررت تصور على النظام وتعطي بنات بنتها حقهم، لأنه إسرائيل ما بتميز بين رجال ومرأة، ولأنه هيدا الكيان اللي عمره أصغر من 6 ما بيعرف العدل قدها.
Yeah, this is millions of people other than I and Rio are going through this in Lebanon right now. Losing their homes, years of memories, decades of memories.
And this is one of literally thousands and thousands of stories. And it's really heartbreaking. Like, you don't know what to say in face of something like this.
It's really important for us to share this because, again, a lot of our viewers are new to the channel. They're coming from, our Lebanese viewers know what's happening. But you guys are coming from abroad. And actually, let me share some updated stats of the channel. And just to complete the story, so yeah, we delayed the podcast because we decided to cut out the part that was demonetized, and then we re-uploaded it, and then everything was fine. So I just wanted to share some interesting. So the channel has been growing a lot ever since Hassan reacted to the channel, and ever since we made that H3 video, which got a lot of traction. And I just wanted to show some of the evolution of the channel. So ever since Hassan reacted to us, like, we got like maybe around 2,000 subscribers because of that. But ever since the Ethan video, we've gotten like 5,000 subscribers. So the channel has almost doubled in subscribers since just a couple of months ago. And I just wanted to share like where the views are coming from. So this is from the last 28 days. Okay, so the last month. 37%, almost 38% of our views have come from the US in the past 28 days. 8% have come from Canada. Only 7.5% have come from Lebanon, which is kind of crazy. 5.3% from the UK, 3% from Australia, almost 3% from Germany, 2.6% from France. We got some United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Netherlands. So obviously there's a lot of Lebanese people that live all around the world. The Lebanese diaspora is huge. There's like 14 or 15 million Lebanese people living outside of Lebanon, and only about 3 or 5 or 6 million Lebanese people in Lebanon. But there's millions of us abroad. So it's kind of crazy that almost 40% of our views, and when you add Canada, like 45 to 46% of our views are coming from North America, which is insane. Also, something that has really shifted is my channel. This channel used to be about 70% male views and 30% female audience. It's now almost an even split. This past month has been 48% women and 50% men. So
that's awesome.
And I've been noticing it in the comments too, like a lot more women commenting, supporting us on Patreon, which is awesome. Like, it's very cool. And it also shows how much H3 really appealed to a lot of women. I felt like the majority of the H3 audience were women. And now that a lot of these people are leaving H3 and trying to find other content creators that you guys like, we got a huge influx of female viewers. So that's fucking awesome as well. Here are some other, like, you can see similar channels that you guys are watching, and YouTube actually shares that insight with me. So other channels that you guys are watching, which is kind of cool. A lot of Bad Empanada. So I know you guys are watching Bad Empanada. Uninformed Leftist, which is also like a pretty new channel who's been doing a lot of Ethan Klein content. So he's been...
That's true.
His channel has been growing. That's kind of cool too. We got some Hassan Abi archives and like clips channels that you guys are watching as well. We got the Cavernacle, who's made some pretty cool Ethan Klein videos as well. I've watched them, and he's really cool. I followed him on Twitter. The Vanguard, which I like. They make fun videos. Ethan Klein's channel, you guys have been watching. Obviously, some more Hassan stuff. Brittany Simon, who I'm not familiar with that creator, but I think I saw a couple of her clips on Twitter. Finally, Ethan's Basement, who made a very, very compelling Ethan critique just like a couple of weeks ago. And he used to make also H3 clips. He was a fan channel, essentially. Bat Hasbara, which is a podcast, which I've heard a lot about. A lot of people have been recommending that I check it out. So I am, and I actually follow the host on Twitter. And here's a couple of more examples. But it's just kind of cool to see what you guys have been watching. And it's very cool to be lumped in with a lot of these creators because I'm a fan of a lot of them. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And again, to anyone who's coming from abroad, welcome. This is super random. This is a Lebanese podcast where we talk about weird Lebanese things. So yeah, it's nice to see all these international viewers.
Do not worry, the podcast